Falcon fans, Falcon fans, Falcon fans, and of course, Falcon fans. You already know what it is. You already know what to do. One time for the fan. Back again talking Falcons football with all the diehard Atlanta Falcon fans. Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube, Terry, I don't know, man. So much more. Now, we've been doing a lot here with One Time for the Fan. We want to say thank you to everybody who's here this morning, rocking with us early. What is it, 9:06? Man, y'all are already up in the chat. Chat is live. Chat is lit. We have a special guest today, Terry.
Yes, we do.
We have Senior Executive Chef Matt Cooper back with us. Mr. Matt.
What's up? What's up?
Bill,
how are you guys?
How's everything going, man? Good to have you back on the podcast, sir.
Likewise, man. It's been too long. Definitely got to do it more often.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Falcon fans, this is great to have Chef Matt here talking Falcons football and food with us. Because I know a lot of season ticket holders are here in the chat too as well. I know most of y'all didn't get a chance to come to the game the other night, so you're getting a chance to go to the Falcons Steelers game coming up next week, or get a chance to see some of the new food items here at the Mercedes Benz Stadium too. And we have Chef Matt here talking everything about the Mercedes Benz and a little bit about the Atlanta Falcons. So Falcon fans, I hope y'all enjoying yourselves in the chat. Season ticket holders, go ahead and rep your section in the chat too as well. Terry.
Yes, sir.
How's everything going, man? Since the last time we talked Falcons, man, it's been a beautiful couple of days, but how's everything going in your world, sir?
Everything is going great. I'm excited to meet the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Chef Matt. Although,
thank you.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, sir. I'm excited to talk about these wonderful dishes that you have, and obviously excited to talk Falcons football. But if you don't mind, Chef Matt, I was perusing through your site and I saw something, and I am so hungry right now, and I would love to ask you about it. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, let's do it.
So I have dubbed this burger that I saw BAB. If you will forgive me, that is an acronym for Big Ass Burger.
Yes, sir.
I think you know. Oh my gosh, that looks. I mean, I'm hungry.
That's a beast, man. That's a beast.
That is 3 days worth of meals, sir. Can you tell me about this and who came up with this? And I'm gonna make sure that I digest that or consume when I come down there. So tell us a little bit about that burger.
Yeah, so that was actually an episode of Burgers with Buck that I did last year, and it was actually around this time, and I have another one with him this coming up Wednesday, and we're going to do the Freddy Beast Burger. So we collaborated with Freddy Falcon, and we came up with a really cool burger that represents the team and Freddy, and I turned that into the Beast Burger as well. So we're going to have that available this season. And it's a beast. It's a 5-pound beef patty. We cut it like a pizza pretty much, so a whole family can share it. But just something I came up with last year that was, fun and interesting. And obviously, when you come to a game, there's a lot of friends and family that come together. So I love coming up with items that kind of everybody can, jump in on and try out. So that's where that came from.
That is awesome.
How long did it take you to prepare that? I mean, that's a monstrous burger right there.
So no, it's a good question. Food. So I put that on the sweet menu last year as well. So part of coming up with new items, I mean, you can come up with whatever items you want, but you have to be able to execute it, right? Just like on the football field. So we do R&D sessions, research and development, and we figure out how long does it take to prep, how long does it take to cook, how long does it take it to assemble, and then we go from there. Is it going to be right for a club, for suites, for concessions? So for this one in particular, we grill mark it ahead of time, flash it in the oven to cook it on the event day, and then we just go straight to building. So should be a fun item. We have a lot of other fun items that we're doing this year as well. So yeah, excited for it.
Good deal. I was also looking on your site, and I saw that you give classes on pasta. Is that right?
So during COVID, that was something that I think myself, along with a lot of other chefs, did. We did some online cooking classes, and that's my roots: pasta and Italian food, Italian restaurants. And pasta is one of the easiest things to prepare, but not a lot of people know about it. So I always love showing people how to make fresh pasta. A few ingredients that everybody has in their kitchen, and you don't need a lot of tools. Yes, you can have a pasta machine that you hand crank and roll out, but you don't have to have that. You can literally, flour, eggs, salt, oil, roll it out with a rolling pin, cut it out. You can make ravioli, tortellini, put some fillings in it. And there is nothing like fresh pasta compared to, a store-bought pasta. It's a night and day difference.
My youngest daughter loves pasta, and,
Yeah.
and researching for this, I found out that there are over 350 different types of pasta, which I had no idea. I mean,
Oh, it's insane. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, Chef Matt, what's your favorite type of pasta to prepare? And what's your favorite type of pasta to consume? And are they the same?
Yeah. There's a ton of different pastas. You can't even come close to memorizing all of them. There really is a lot. But for me personally, I like something with stuffing, something inside. So a tortellini is probably my favorite. Infusing the tortellini when you make the pasta with spinach, make it green, sun-dried tomatoes, give it a red tint to it, and then some ricotta and garlic in the middle, and just a simple Alfredo sauce. Just, heavy cream, Parmesan cheese, garlic, sliced garlic. Simple for me is the best, and there's nothing, like I said, better than fresh pasta.
You're making me hungry, Chef
I
Matt.
know, you're getting me hungry right
It's
now.
never
I mean,
too
it's 9
early,
o'clock
man.
in the
Never
morning.
too
I haven't
early.
had my breakfast yet, and you guys talking about pasta. I already
Talking
got
about
lunch
beef
and dinner.
burgers and pasta at 9 o'clock in the morning. Love it. That's my life.
Jack, I might have to go off camera for about 15 minutes and remedy this because he's making me.
I understand. It's breakfast at one time for the fan. That's what it's all
There
about.
you go.
Chef Matt, definitely thank you for taking the time out of your day.
Of
Your
course.
busy schedule too, as well, with the Georgia game coming up tomorrow too, as well. Georgia and Clemson at the Benz. Also, they announced the Final Four would be there in 2031 too, as well. Have you looked forward into 2031, Matt?
So we had the Final Four.
Your menu?
Well, we had the Final Four in 2020, and we were getting
COVID.
ready for it, and then COVID hit, so we didn't get a chance to have the Final Four here. So it's cool to see that it's coming back. Obviously, 2031 is that's far away, but it's cool that it's definitely coming back. And in the background, you see we're ready. We got Clemson, Georgia, Aflac kickoff. Field is ready. You can pretty much hear a pin drop right now in the stadium, where I'm at least. If you go in the kitchen right now, there's about 100 cooks in there just going crazy, getting ready to push all the food to the different locations. But right now, there's nobody in the stadium. It is quiet. So it's kind of nice.
Also, with the new Molly B's area, they're doing some construction over there. But can you just take us through quickly with this new Molly B's area, how long it take to construct and everything that was going on behind it? And of course, Matt, you guys did a great job for the small opening you had for the preseason game. Tomorrow for the Georgia game, it's going to be ready to go again, right?
Yeah, it's going to be open. I love that you popped that up. So that's a walkthrough of upstairs Molly B's, the lounge. And this is, if you know from last year, any of you that have been to the stadium, it was just a single-story club since we opened the building. And we turned it into a 2-level, 2 totally different experiences. So the top level right there that you're seeing, a lot of high-end food, small plates. We're incorporating a chef partner every single Falcons game. So we went all around Atlanta. We found Michelin star restaurants. We found just really cool spots that we're bringing to the stadium. And they're going to have a section right there on the action station, right in the middle of the club. And we designed these cooking tables where you can actually live cook right there in the middle. So they're going to be represented on one side. We have some live action sushi on the other side. And then we do a bunch of cool food and small plates as well. Upstairs, really nice bar. And then downstairs is similar to what it was last year, a really, really cool bar. We have a 4-sided bar when you walk in. I wish I could show you guys today, but maybe next time. But yeah, 2 totally different experiences. The spot and just the view of the field is absolutely gorgeous. You can see everything. And then also we do some in-seat dining in the upstairs Molly B's as well. So in the lounge, you can, graze all the small plates, talk to the chef partner, get some sushi, and then you can sit in your seat and you can order straight from your seat as well. And we bring out your food and beverage directly to you. So there's nothing better than that.
Notice how he's mentioning all this, Terry, and there's a football game going on. Or
Right?
there's a concert going on. There's something. This is, man, I tell you, this is when I talk about amazing when it comes to what Mercedes Benz Stadium is doing for the fans too as well. There's supposed to be a 300 level area coming soon, apparently.
How'd you hear about that?
Oh no! Whoa! We can edit that out now. We can edit that out. I mean, I saw some curtains. I was there at the preseason game. I saw some curtains, but
there's a little something happening. There's always something happening here at Mercedes Benz. So there's some plans. We typically start now for something next season. So this Molly B's club that just got built, we started that over a year ago from the design phase to looking at the blueprints, designing the kitchen, the chef's tables, all of the smallwares and plateware, the menu development, all of that stuff starts probably about a year out. That's how we started that one. Really, any restaurant will start that early. So we are starting something on the 300 level. Can't talk too much about that. But when it becomes live, then we'll definitely talk about it. But there is always something happening. That's not the only one. There's a couple more things happening at the end of this season, going into next season, and really, it's all getting ready for FIFA 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a wild time, not just here, but just in the city as a whole. It's going to be insane. So
It seems like it's really
that.
important for the stadium to do this for the fans. I mean, they really love, not only showing off the stadium, but definitely bringing a fan-friendly environment experience when it comes to concerts, when it comes to football games. It could be a high school football game, and fans can come in there and just see certain activations and things going on that just makes them want to come back. I think soccer has definitely taken over very well too in Atlanta.
For sure.
And what Atlanta United has done over the past couple of years, even after winning the championship, has just been amazing for the fan base here and everybody in Atlanta. Chef Matt, how long have you been in the industry of food and beverage and chefing and cooking and so on?
Yeah, so it's been probably about 20 years now. I started when I was about 15 years old in a restaurant. Worked my way up, went to college dining after that, just as a job. I wasn't seeing it as a career path or anything. And then I got a taste of sports and entertainment for the Braves. So I started working at Turner Field, and that's when I was like, oh, this is cool. This is electric. So that's when I started taking it seriously as a career path. And from there, just push. Had some really good chefs that took me under their wing. Got an opportunity to go down to Tampa for the Buccaneers. So I did that for 4 years. And then after that, while I was down there, traveled a lot up and down the East Coast, just seeing different stadiums, arenas, convention centers, and pretty much took everything that I saw with my travels and put it all together. And that was what gave me the ability to open up Mercedes Benz, was taking everything I learned from traveling, everything I learned in Tampa, and came up here in 2017. And I got promoted to executive chef about, I think it was like 3 weeks before opening. So those 3 weeks they were grueling. But we rallied together and made magic happen, and we're 7 years in now as number one in food and beverage for Voice of the Fan out of every NFL stadium in the country. So that's something I'm super proud of. That's something that we hold on to, and just because we have it doesn't mean we're going to keep it. So every year we have to one up and do better and better just to make sure we keep that number one status. But 7 years in a row is unheard of. No one else has ever done that. So it's something myself and the entire team here is super proud of.
Hey, Falcon fans, you are hearing it first from Chef Matt Cooper. Chef, there's one thing I do want to talk about, and I think we did raise some attention to last time when you was here at the podcast, was the mop sauce video.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
And apparently this video now, Matt, it's well over 1 million views now.
Oh no. It is well over 100 million views.
Yeah. Whoa. Hold on a second here. Over 100 million views. The mop sauce video. Can you explain this video for fans in the chat? Because people do not understand. Some of them saw just the mop sauce clip that was like 5 to 10 seconds. They didn't know that you was behind the scenes with this too as well. Please explain for the fans what is going on with the mop sauce video.
Yes. So thank you for asking that, because if you see right here, this is me explaining what mop sauce is for the people that don't understand. And all they see is a utensil like a mop being used on food. And the first thing that goes to their mind is, oh my God, was that on the floor? Did they mop the floor with that? No, that is specifically made for barbecue. And if you go on Google and type in mop sauce, you'll see it is a Southern thing. So, I saw all the comments, and that's why I ended up responding to that, just to let everybody know there are utensils and tools that are specifically made for food. They are food safe. And it really comes down to efficiency, right? We do large volume. That actually wasn't here. That was at a barbecue spot I had visited. But there's a big difference between cooking for 10, 20 people and cooking for 70, 80,000 people. You can't have a small little brushing on barbecue sauce on each piece of chicken. We're, producing tens of thousands of pieces, of barbecue. So that's where mop sauce originated from. It is something from the South. It is sanitary. There's nothing wrong with it. Lint does not come off because those are made for food. But yeah, it definitely garnered a lot of attention. Shaq was on, actually. They recreated that on NBC, and they did a little mop sauce, and Charles Barkley. So it was cool. It was a cool thing. 100 million. That's I can't even fathom 100 million people seeing that and watching that video. But yeah, it happened, and there was some negative publicity around it for a minute, but I'm hopeful that people can understand this is one of those things that you don't get to see behind the scenes that often, and when you do, people are kind of amazed at what happens. And this is something that this is a practice that has been going on for years, decades, and it's happening all over the place. If you've had barbecue, good barbecue, you've had mop sauce.
This is truly amazing. And I can't even imagine with 100 million views. You have 20 minutes out of your schedule to come talk to us. Terry, he's getting 100 million views over there, Terry. 100 million views, man. We got to step it up over here one time for the fan check. I don't know what you can do, Terry, in the kitchen, but we got to get 100 million views ourselves.
Grab a mop, put it on some barbecue sauce, and you'll hit it.
Hey, I have a question for you, Chef Matt.
Yeah, what you got?
Do you have any taste testers, and do you need any more? I'm asking for a friend. I'm
asking for a friend. Come on down. That's a question I get asked a lot about tasting food, and I mean, you have to, right? That's part of the job, and all day long we're cooking. You walk through that kitchen. Like I said, it's about 100 cooks that are in that kitchen every day of the week. For one Falcons game on a Sunday, we start that Monday. So from Monday on, it's full force ahead. At least 100 cooks in the kitchen. Everybody's cooking, tasting food. That's I have 7-8 other chefs that go around for each department and make sure that the recipes are being followed, the standards are being upheld. Food safety, sanitation is always number one, and that's the biggest thing that we focus on as well, at the same time as quality. And then on game day, that's when this building just comes alive, right? You have 70,000 fans, and 300 people that are in here are cooking food for the stadium. So on game day, we have 300 cooks that come through that we put in concession stands. We have different suite kitchens that we operate out of, so 4 different kitchens for suites that execute. 8 all-inclusive clubs, all you can eat, all you can drink, different menus, every single event, and then 50 or so concession stands on 4 different levels. And on top of that, catering. So we do catering all throughout the building, every day of the week, pretty much. We have a catered event here on non-game days. But on game days, there's about 40 different catered events that we feed, cheerleader in the locker room, security, NBC, CBS, Fox, all of those guys, press, media. So yeah, this is a logistics job for sure. Logistics and organization I talk about a lot because with everything I just mentioned, every single thing has to be timed perfectly. Every plan has to come together. It's like I explain it as like a million-piece jigsaw puzzle, and all million pieces of those have to come together and be well planned out. And then things happen, right? We have equipment that goes down. We have people that can't get to certain areas of the stadium at certain times. So you always have to have a backup plan. And for me, I always have a backup plan on top of the backup plan, which I'm sure, football does the same thing. But for us, we have to be ready. There's no excuse to obviously not get food out. So we always have to be ready and be able to pivot whenever we need to.
And you talked about the logistics and the behind the scenes that goes on at Mercedes Benz, the fan friendly pricing.
Yeah.
Chef Matt, across the country. I mean, I went to the Cowboys Stadium before, and I remember getting 2 bottles of water and some nachos. And this is no disrespect to the Cowboys, but it was like $44, man, for something that was just so small. And it's like, how could I pay that? And I'm going to a game that was already like $200-$300 for like 400 level tickets. You know what I'm saying? Ticket prices and stuff. So it's like, how did Mercedes Benz? How are they able to do this? I mean, I know they just love to give back to the fans. But with a stadium like Mercedes Benz, and to go in there and have a family of 4 or even 5 that you can feed for less than $25, and that's for the event right there. That's where you're full. Man, how did they do that?
Yeah, so really, really good question. You kind of brought it up earlier about just Arthur Blank, and a lot of what happens here is all for the fan. That is 100% Arthur Blank. We've talked about it. We're 7 years in now with the fan-friendly pricing. And, just how the industry, how the economy is right now compared to 7 years ago in 2017, it's night and day, right? We have inflation, we have prices that have gone up. One thing that has not changed is our fan-friendly pricing. And I don't see that ever changing. That's something that Arthur, created when he first came to the stadium. And I think, out of all the, if you go back to 2017, you can see a lot of people telling him that he's crazy. You're not going to be able to do it. It's not going to last long. It's 7 years in now. It has not changed. I don't see it changing. And it's probably one of the coolest stories I've been a part of, being able to do that and continuously do it and give back. And yeah, for $20, you can get a hot dog, a pretzel, a slice of pizza, chicken tenders, fries, popcorn, a refillable soda. That's 7 items right there for $20, and that is never changing. I don't know any other stadium that does it like we do, and it's just a really, really cool story, and it makes me proud that I work for somebody like Arthur.
Man, this is great. This is great, Falcon fans, because you're hearing it all the time when we mention Falcons football and what Raheem is doing and Kirk Cousins and how Bijan Robinson can have 1,000 yards this season and all the good things about the team. But now we get away from the team, we go to the stadium, and we see the hard work and what's going on behind the scenes with Chef Matt and his team too as well. Big Low Country Sports is in the chat. He said, we had smoked pig in the AMG lounge for the Beyonce concert.
There you go.
Smoked
there you go.
Pig?
A whole pig. A whole pig. I appreciate you calling that out. So we took whole pigs and we smoked them and we, stuffed them with pulled pork. We did a 14-hour smoke on that. And concerts and these college games. We like to have a lot of fun with our menus. So a lot of people think it's chicken tenders, hot dogs, and hamburgers, but obviously, as we've been talking about, it goes well beyond that. So appreciate you calling that out. I'm glad that you were able to have that and enjoy some of that food.
Chef Matt, I know you have some stuff to take care of. Terry, I know we have like 2 more questions, and Matt, I'm probably pretty sure you have like a million things to do for the day.
All good. No worries.
Terry, matter of fact, Chef Matt, if you want to hang with us until 1 o'clock, we can keep the podcast going for the next 3-4 hours.
Well, let's do this. Let's talk about. I have something fun coming up. So you mentioned Bijan, right? Bijan Robinson. So I love nothing more than seeing the player launch a retail item. I think that's really, really cool and kind of building their brand. I'm all about that. So when I saw that he came out with that Bijan Dijon, we all connected and we brought it into the stadium, obviously, being a Falcons player. So if you go to Molly B's concession stand, we've talked about the clubs, but there's also a concession stand on the other side. You can get the Bijan pretzel, which is a massive pretzel. You get his Bijan Dijon. And with that, I wasn't, there you go. I wasn't happy with just the pretzels, so I have him coming in next week actually to the kitchen. I got him a chef coat with his name on it, and we're going to collaborate on a really cool, fun featured item to launch this season. So that's something the fans can look out for, a Bijan inspired and really Bijan created item that we're going to sell during a Falcons game.
Oh man, wow. I'm talking about Falcons football. Look, Falcons fan talking Falcons football and food on
Ties together.
Falcons Friday. This is what it's all about here. Terry, I know you got a lot for Chef Matt. What you got, T?
Well, Chef Matt, so again, just preparing for this, you've really done a lot. It was very interesting, and I was very hungry like I am now. And I'm really considering like just cutting the show short and
come on down.
But I can't. You're killing me over here. But
yeah.
I saw that you worked with Pat McAfee for one of the national championships.
Yeah.
Pat's an interesting personality. Can you just tell us what that was like?
Yeah, that was really cool actually. Funny story with that. We I think we were doing, I forgot what teams we're playing. But I always do a featured item that represents both teams. So right there, I think that's when I did the dueling grilled cheese, I believe. So there's 2 teams represented on this big 2-foot sandwich. An entire family can share. I'm all about that, family friend environment. So he obviously was there covering the game. He wanted to see some of the food, so I brought that to him. And he, called me up and we just started chatting, and it was a cool, fun little interview. He's definitely a cool guy. I enjoyed that very much. That entire team was amazing. So that was a cool experience.
And you say that's a dueling grilled. That now, do we still have that item? Is that I'm writing all this stuff down for my.
Hey, if you're here tomorrow night, you'll see it. So we're doing that again tomorrow night. That's going to be at Molly B's concession stand. It's our featured item. So as soon as you walk into the stadium, you'll see the big sign. I got a 6-foot poster board that we print. I do the photography in house, so we take the photos of the food. All these featured items that we do and change out every game. So as soon as you walk into the stadium, you'll see a big poster board of that dueling grilled cheese. Or actually, it's not a grilled cheese. It's a dueling smoked sandwich this weekend. And we did brisket on one side to represent Georgia, and then we did pulled pork on the other side to represent Clemson. So yeah, you can get that tomorrow. There's a limited supply though, so once they're gone, they're gone. I think we're making 100 of those. So the first 100 people to come up
They're
there,
gone.
we'll
They're
try
gone.
that, and they're going to be gone before the game even starts.
Already. They're gone.
Yep.
They're gone.
I've got one more question for you.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
sorry.
Yeah.
Got one more question for you. Now, Chef Matt, I've gone through your website, and your food seems to not only taste good, but it's so pretty. I mean, it's just
Oh, thank you.
It's
and
presented well. Definitely is.
it feels like a shame that when I consume that I would just desecrate it with beer.
It disappears.
Your food seems like it should be consumed with wine, right?
Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate that.
Even that big ass burger, it's so pretty. It just seems to, it just seems like you would desecrate it. Let me have a Bud Light. So
Yeah.
if I were to consume your food, which I'm going to, what wine would you suggest that I consume with it?
Yeah, I mean, a nice red wine, a Cabernet would be good. And I appreciate all those kind of words. I think that's a big piece to what we do. Obviously, the food needs to taste good. That's number one, right? Quality, but it needs to present well as well, right? That's a big part of what we do. We can have food taste amazing, but if it doesn't present well, if it's not in a cool vessel, if there's not a story behind it, if there's not love that's put into it, then it's not going to be 100%. So that's something that we strive for all the time. Is how we display our food, how we garnish it. So it's a well-rounded package that the details in that is definitely part of that logistical challenge that we deal with on a daily basis. But it's what separates us out from other stadiums around the country. So I appreciate those kind words.
Auntie Pam has a question in the chat. Chef Matt, are you doing the dueling food for the Georgia Tech and Notre Dame game?
Yes, Pamela. If you want to give me an idea, we can run with it. But yeah, we'll do a dueling idea. I've done the wings before, so and a lot of these we have our cooks in the kitchen come up with different flavors, different ideas. That's something that I love promoting is having a line level cook that may have just started in this industry 6 months prior, and we look to them to come up and help develop an R&D items. And I've had people that just started and they have their item featured during a Falcons game, which is pretty cool. I think it would be amazing to have a fan kind of help with that process as well. So that's something that I'm kind of working on behind the scenes. Can't talk too much about it, but that's something I'm interested in doing is really looking to the fans to help develop an item that they could be proud of and we could feature during a Falcons game as well.
Nice. Perfect. Big shout to Auntie Pam in the chat too as well. I'm sorry, Chef Auntie Pam in the chat. Big Little Country Sports is here. He said, Chef Matt, can you make an old country boy pan of that lobster mac and cheese from the Gold Wing Club?
There we
lobster
go.
Mac and cheese seems to be like a big hit here, Matt. You want
Dude, you got your fans
mac?
these fans are awesome. I'm really,
you got sweet fans,
I'm
you
loving
got club
this.
fans, you got fans in the 300, 200 level. So everybody has tried.
They know the food.
Some food from the stadium, but
Yeah.
now that you're here, they get a chance to ask these questions.
Love it. So yeah, that mac and cheese. So God, if I could show you how much mac and cheese we prepare for one game, it is, we have, it's a piece of equipment called a tilt skillet, and it's about a 40-gallon braising pan basically that lifts up, right? So we have 4 of those in the kitchen. And when we make mac and cheese for the stadium, all 4 of those are filled, right? 40 gallons in each one of those. But we flip that multiple times throughout the week just to prepare enough mac and cheese for the stadium. That gets served everywhere from concessions to suites to clubs, catering. And then throwing some lobster on top of that, can't beat that. That's probably one of my favorite things here is lobster mac and cheese. So appreciate you calling that out.
Jamal Hills in the chat says, Chef Matt, you make me wish I stayed in culinary art school. Any words of encouragement here for Jamal Hill? You might even get a chance to go back.
No, that's so I appreciate that. And that's one thing I do, I haven't talked about too much, but I can talk about it here. I didn't go to culinary school. I didn't have any kind of formal training. And to be in a position I'm at now, senior executive chef at the #1 in F&B for 7 years now is, I still pinch myself. I've been here 7 years. I still can't believe I'm in the position I'm in. And then especially if you see and kind of know and understand my path and my whole story, I didn't go to culinary school. I didn't really do well in school. That's something that I'm actually proud to talk about, because when I graduated high school, I had no clue what I wanted to do. I had no pathway. College wasn't for me. I don't do well sitting in a classroom learning. I do well learning, on the job and just getting into it. So that's what I ended up doing. I just got into this industry and, saw that there was a career path. And that's when I just took the bull by the horns. And something I tell my staff all the time is, when you come in, not just this industry, really any industry, come in, and if you want to climb that ladder, just do it. Don't think about it. Don't ask to do it. Just do it. And that is exactly how not only myself has climbed the ladder, but my executive chef, Joe Passanante, and a lot of the other chefs that work for me. They started just in this industry and slowly but surely climbed the ladder. And for me, I always did the position that was above me without being asked. So when I was a line cook, I was doing a supervisor's job, right? I was just doing the tasks that a supervisor would do. And then when that position opened up or somebody left, boom, I'm right there. I'm doing it. They have no other choice but to look at me. So I took that same mentality and did that to become a sous chef. As a line level cook, you don't really deal with the ordering and the creating menus and all that. But I just started doing it and showing my chef, hey, this is what do you think of this? Teach me, train me. Let me learn how to cost food. Let me learn how to put menus together and how to use verbiage on a menu. And then when a position opened up, it was, I don't want to say handed to me because I did all the hard work and the legwork on the front end to get that. But that's how I did it and took it every step of the way. Executive sous chef, then executive chef, then senior executive chef. I just always looked what that job was above me, and I just did it. And people noticed. And, you obviously have to have good work ethic. You have to be dedicated. But if you take that same mentality, you can climb any industry that you want to.
Falcon fans, this is great. This is what it's all about. I talk about one time for the fan, where it's from the fan for the fan, and of course with the Rise Up to Our Fan Club, where fans become family. You're hearing like a fan-friendly show right here with Chef Matt and Terry, and of course big shout out to Bodie and Carrie too as well from One Time for the Fan. But we want fans to see that away from the game, away from everybody just yelling and screaming, and just watching the entertainment on the field or the concerts or whatever it may be, that there is some other stuff going on behind the scenes. And that's why we bring Chef Matt here and so many other special guests so y'all can see the hard work and dedication that it takes to take Mercedes Benz Stadium to the next level. And there's people like Chef Matt there in the building that make sure fans are taken care of on different levels. So big shout out to Chef Matt for everything. We don't want to keep you too long, but we do have a question for you.
Yeah.
For my friend Jonathan, he just texted me. He wants to know, have you ever worked with Chef Ramsay?
No, I haven't. I think that'd be pretty cool, and that's definitely a goal, is to get in with those celebrity chefs and do some fun things, collaborations. So maybe one day. Not yet though.
This is good. This is great. This is great, Falcon fans. We talked about Kirk Cousins before. Terry, what's up?
Yeah, I just want to interject something.
No, go right ahead, brother.
Chef Matt, you said a mouthful. And let me tell you something. My respect level for you just went up 1,000%.
Oh, thank you.
Young folks that are out there, what Chef Matt is talking about is being accountable, right? You said not go to culinary art school, right? Yet you are the senior executive, right? So it's not where you start, it's where you finish. You said
100%.
You said that in your career track, you didn't say that's not my job.
No.
You did it anyway. You took initiative, right? You took your career path in your hand and you said, hey, I'm going to take this and make the most out of it. And I love that. I am.
Thank you.
I again, my respect level for you has shot up, right?
Thank you so much.
And I'll tell you why. I don't have a college degree, yet I've been in management. I've had rocket science, literal rocket scientists work.
Wow.
So I think we see the world through similar lenses, if that's
for sure.
But really, to anybody out there, right? Whoever the person was that said, hey, you make me want to go back to culinary school, you can still do it. You have to, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to take the point to point that out because there's so many people out there that feel like, well, I don't have this and I can't do this.
But the time has passed and they can't continue. No, you can still go out there and do it. That's right.
100%.
Mine too. I love that, Chef Matt. And hey, man, you got a fan in me. So
thank you so much,
Jack.
No. I think it's a good point. And I appreciate you for saying that. And it's something. And just an example of that is we also, something that we haven't talked about on the show yet, is the Westside Works Culinary Academy. Yep. So we have a legit culinary academy at the stadium. I hired a culinary instructor that is here full time, and we created a comprehensive curriculum that is, after the CIA, the Culinary Institute of America, And it's down to about 6 weeks. It's a 6-week program, and we graduate about 15 students every 6 weeks. So we have 6 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 6 weeks on, 2 weeks off. We bring 15 people in from all around Atlanta and the West Side, and we give them that hard-hitting culinary, classroom style where they get to learn everything that we do in the stadium, all the basics. So for the guy that wrote that in the chat, definitely hit me up, because there's opportunities. And just to give you an example of these opportunities that I was speaking of, we had somebody that came into the academy, and this isn't just one person. I can tell this story 100 times over, but this one in particular came to the academy, didn't really have any kind of culinary background, went through the class, learned a lot. We do job placement afterwards, so they come and work for us after they graduate. They get ServSafe certified, all the good stuff. And then he went to Arthur's Ranch in Montana and became a sous chef there, came back here to the stadium. Now he's a supervisor, and that was in less than a year. So for those of you that are out there that think, maybe it's too late, or, I'm getting older, I can't get into a new industry, it's going to take too long. That's not the case. If you're dedicated and you really put your mind to it and you push yourself, anything, and I know it's so cliche to say, but the sky's the limit with opportunity. I see things happen and give people opportunities every day. It's just a matter if they want to take it or not. What you said earlier about that's not my job. The second I hear somebody say that's not my job, boom, I know what your mindset is, and I know you don't want to go further in that particular career path. And that's okay. Some people might not want to do this for a living or a career path, and it might just be a job. But those of you that do want to take, any industry serious, you have to do those things that aren't your job, or you won't learn and you won't climb that ladder. So I personally, if I see something that's not my job, I run towards it. I don't go away from it. I want to learn that. I want to consume as much knowledge as I can, because that's the only way I can get better and learn and climb that ladder. So it's all kind of a, full circle. But yeah, any of you that are out there that want an opportunity in culinary industry, shoot me a DM. I'd love to have you come in and start working. So I appreciate you guys for taking the time and saying that.
No, man, I definitely appreciate you for taking the time over here and talking with us at One Time for the Fan, because fans are, like I said, they come over here to hear football talk 24/7. But as we take away from football talk for a minute and get a chance to see the behind the scenes of Mercedes Benz Stadium, I mean, you've just done an amazing job here at the podcast, man. Matt, you used to have a podcast of your own too as well.
Yeah, thank you, Kerry. I appreciate that. You saw that in the chat. So I did a podcast last year. Honestly, I think it was 2 years ago now, in one of the suites. So I called it the Suite Life, SUITE, because we have suites here, obviously. It's part of my job. But yeah, that's something I'm interested in bringing back. Obviously, there's a lot of dedication involved in that. As you know, producing a podcast, I tried to do it myself as a full-time job here at the stadium, and trying to produce a podcast. It was a lot. I want to do it right. I'd love to bring it back. I want to bring on people, different chefs and football and soccer and just all the fun events that we have here. I think it would be a really cool concept. So I still have everything locked and loaded for that. So hopefully soon you'll see that pop back up. And if you do, I'll definitely have you guys on. I'm excited to hopefully launch that soon if everything works out.
Falcon fans have a million questions for you. I know
hit me.
One more
All
here
good.
at One Time for the Fan. Matt, we talked about accountability and leadership, and of course, Raheem Morris and the Atlanta Falcons. They have been showing it all off season. I think journalists mentioning that Terry, we have a Super Bowl contender in the building with the Atlanta Falcons. Stephen A. didn't take that too well, but we have a team that has definitely. I mean, you saw what happened when Dan Orlovsky mentioned it. He turned away and said, "How could you say the Falcons are Super Bowl contenders? They never even reached that point in 6-7 years." But Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson, Chef Matt, the stadium is sold out. Season tickets are sold out. Fans are going to be there next week in the building, expecting a win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But how excited are you for this season, man? I mean, you've talked about the food and beverage industry with dealing with some of these events that you've had over the past couple of years, but now you're focused on the Falcons coming up in a week. How excited are you? How excited is the team around you for just this pretty much possibly an incredible Falcons season that we can have?
Yeah. So honestly, this is my 7th season now, right? And they're all electric every time we have our first game. But this one, it really does feel different. I don't know if it's just the changes that have been made on the field, but I saw a speech, and I haven't met Raheem personally. Hopefully I'll get to soon. But the speech that he had in the locker room, I don't know if you know the one I'm talking about, but it was so inspirational. Just hearing him speak as a coach, you could literally take that speech anywhere and it would apply. And I loved hearing that. It's all about teamwork. It's all positivity, but obviously the hard work and dedication has to be there too. So I really do think this is going to be a season for the Bucs. I hope so. I got a MLS championship ring. I want that Falcons. I want that NFL one too. So I think that'd be really cool. But when the Falcons play well, obviously everybody's happy, including food and beverage, security, just all the different outlets that operate this stadium. I think it's around I don't even know the accurate number, 5,000 people to open up this building. But when they're doing well, you can feel it. It's electric. Everybody enjoys it. So that's our hope for this year is we come out, the right way and do a great job this season. So we're super excited. The entire team is.
This is great. Falcon fans in the chat talking Falcons football on a Falcons Friday and food too. Miss Carey's in the chat. Chef Matt, are there awards, competitions for the food between all the NFL stadiums? Sorry if there is, and I'm not aware. Do the fans vote? If so, how does it work? We should be number one easily. Is there any type of competition between Mercedes Benz versus the Charger Stadium versus like all the chefs have to get together or anything going on behind the scenes with that? Or
not yet, but I love launching things and I want to launch that. I want to do a competition between all the chefs at all the different stadiums. So maybe we can put that out in the air right now. Maybe somebody, prominent will hear this. But it's something that I've had in the back of my head for a while. We do something like that because the company I work for, Levy Restaurants, we do operate a lot of stadiums and arenas. So we kind of feed off each other. This featured item that I came up with, we're doing at other stadiums as well, where we just do a one-time featured item. Once they're gone, they're gone. So I'm hoping this season we can do some kind of cool competition between the different stadiums. The one that I was talking about where we are number one, that is called Voice of the Fan. And that is something that every stadium in the country has, and it's fans that vote for this. And it's not just food and beverage, it's security, it's parking, it's everything that is involved in stadiums. So all the fans from all around the country have voted, and we have been number one 7 years in a row. So that's not something that a random person or food critic comes up with. This is actually the voice of the fan. But besides that, no competition between chefs and stadiums yet, but hopefully you'll see that pop up sometime soon.
Falcon fans, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Some of the major events going on at the stadium soon. We have the national championship going on. FIFA World Cup is coming up soon. It gets announced 2031 that the NCAA Final Four will be at the Mercedes Benz. So Mercedes has their hands full. I guarantee you, every fan that walks through the stadium will definitely be in a just an era of just enjoyment, of just having a great time. I'm talking about when the Falcons go out there, we already know what we're going to expect. The team's going to do well. But when it goes to the concerts that they have, the soccer games, some of the stuff that we've had over the past couple of years. I mean, they had Luke Bryan earlier this year. I think it was Luke Combs or Luke Bryan, one of the country music stars. And that show was packed too as well. Just everybody just from all walks of life having a great time. And of course, Miss Carey, she's coming from Florida for the Falcons Steelers game. So we have people that's coming in from out of town too as well. So she was asking about the lobster mac and cheese. Is it only in the lounges in the suites area for the lobster mac, or?
Nope. You can get that. We have a stand called Mac Shack. So definitely look me up on Instagram, Stadium Chef, at Stadium Chef. Shoot me a DM if you're coming to a game. Shoot me a DM. I have Falcon fans DM me all the time, and I love meeting people in person. But yeah, you can get that mac and cheese all throughout the stadium. I think we have 6 different locations throughout, not just on suite level, but concourse, general concourse as well. But yeah, I appreciate that.
Lisa wants to know, outside of the Benz, which NFL stadium do you think has the best food? Because we travel for Falcon games. We saw you in Baltimore recently too as well for the preseason game.
Yeah, so like I said, the company I work for runs a lot of the stadiums and arenas. So I helped put their sweet food and beverage programming together, and I like to see things through. So they had me up there to kind of see it from, it's one thing to work on menus and, ideas and concepts and pictures and recipes here at the stadium. But when we took that blueprint and brought it to Baltimore, I brought the team, my sweet chef and front of house as well. We all went up there for one of their first games to kind of see it come to life. give some feedback, help out where we can. So a lot of what they're doing up there is what I'm trying to do down here, is just kind of leading the industry and always, innovating and doing really cool things. So if you're a Baltimore fan, Ravens fan, definitely check out their F&B, food and beverage. They have a lot of cool things happening there. Yeah, really all up and down, New York to Florida. We do a lot of the stadiums. So a lot of what I'm doing here, you'll see at other stadiums as well. We really like to, be number one in everything that we do.
And Matt, you're always on the go. Do you get a chance to watch the event? Because it's kind of like, oh, okay, Georgia's winning. Up, back to work. Like, do you get a chance to sit back and say, oh, let me get a chance to just, watch the artist perform, or just, it's the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left to go. Let me see this game. Do you even get a chance to do that?
It's a good question. So not really. I walk on game day. I walk about 20 miles. So if you can think of this entire stadium and just going up and down, clubs, concessions, suites, just all over the place to make sure everything's running like it should. It's about 20 miles of walking. I definitely stop time to time and I'll glance, and you hear the fans. I mean, this building, you can feel it. If you closed your eyes and your ears, you would still be able to feel the energy when the Falcons score or Atlanta United kicks a goal. So I definitely, it'll stop you in your tracks, every now and then when that happens, and you kind of glance over and see where you're at. So yeah, I like being able to stop and kind of watch, whether it's a concert or a game. You definitely got to stop for a couple seconds and just take it all in. Obviously, we put a lot of work on the front end, only for 5 hours worth of, a game. So we spend, a week and a half to prepare for it. 5 hours.
Oh, did we lose?
I hope not.
Sorry, there we go. You still there?
Yep.
Yeah. So, it's pretty cool, but a lot of times I am running, not literal fires, but there's definitely fires that we have to put out. It's a big logistics and organization game on game day. So, but it is fun to stop and kind of watch the game. And I do want to call out one department that it's all behind the scenes, right? A lot of what I do and show is behind the scenes, but this department, the conversions team at the stadium, they are the ones that make this field look the way it does and make the magic happen. If you can imagine, and just think about it for a second, having 50,000 fans on a Saturday night for an Atlanta United game, they don't leave here until close to, 11 o'clock, midnight. There's obviously cleaning up the entire stadium that needs to happen. But the next morning at, 1 p.m., there's a football game. Well, how do you think this field gets changed from a football field or from a soccer field to a football field? It's the conversions team here at the stadium that comes in overnight, only with a few hours to spare, and they flip the entire field and building to make that happen. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into that with the programming, the IT department. I mean, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that people don't get to see, that I'm hopeful that this year, housekeeping, oh my God, the housekeeping team here, it's amazing what they're able to do. Just think of the trash. So just on that, and we can have I can hop on another podcast just to talk about the sustainability efforts that we go through here at the stadium. So we're LEED certified building, which means everything's sustainable. Everything we do here, the first thing that I think about when I come up with a new item and have to think of a vessel is it has to be compostable. So everything we have here is compostable. And if you can understand how much trash is generated from 70,000 fans and know that in the bottom level, there is an entire team that takes apart every trash bag and goes through every single piece of trash to separate out recycling versus compost versus a very, very limited landfill supply. We divert so much stuff that would typically go to a landfill, but instead goes to compost, or we have a garden on site that we manage as well. But it's just amazing to see, and we got to find a way to cover and spotlight and highlight just what goes into a building like this and the behind the scenes of it. So if anyone on here is a producer, let me know, because I would love to share just the insight to this building. It's pretty remarkable.
So technically you would say that you had something to do possibly with the forest kits that Atlanta United had a couple years ago, because that came from recycled material from the Mercedes Benz.
Yeah.
They had the green forest kits. So this is great when you talk about what, everybody does, like I said, behind the scenes and the hard work and dedication, but the amount of shout outs that you gave to as well to some of the staff at the stadium, because people don't know that they just go to the game, they scan their tickets, they go to their seats, they have their drinks and their food, and they just yell and scream at the game. But behind the scenes, there are some hard-working individuals to make sure Auntie Pam,
Absolutely.
and Carrie, and Dirty Fanatics United. Big shout out to Chase too as well. Congratulations on the birth of your baby too as well, Chase. Big shout out to you and the wife. So for fans that's going to the game tomorrow, Georgia Clemson, Matt has explained items you can hear there. I mean, you can see there. But of course, the Falcons coming up too as well, and they have the Falcons Chiefs game Sunday night. They have the Thursday night game now. So now we got some primetime games in the building that you can enjoy some good food and some good drinks too as well. But Matt, what else do you have coming up at the stadium that you can talk about?
Yeah. Well, next week, so we have a Molly Bees showcase. So we have a lot of the media outlets. I think it's Food Lifestyle Magazine, Good Morning America, or Good Morning Atlanta, excuse me. They're coming to, so we can showcase Molly Bees, the lounge. So we'll have about 20 different outlets that are up there doing, write-ups and cool things to show that. And then we'll go downstairs and show the downstairs club as well. And then the next day I have a Fox 5 2 segments. We're going to do the burgers with Buck again. So you'll see that Beast Burger and the Freddy burger as well. And then after that, a lot of the featured items that we're going to be showing this year, I'm going to be showing on at Fox as well. So if you have a chance to tune in tomorrow, next week, next Thursday, I'm not sure of the timing, but you'll be able to see a lot of the featured items that we're going to be doing this year, some really cool stuff. And then Bijan, having him come to the kitchen is going to be a really cool experience, and getting to collaborate with him. But right now, really just building the team. We're continuously hiring. So for those of you that want to get into this industry, hit me up, because we are looking for cooks and prep cooks and people with or without experience. But really just building the team. So at the same time as Raheem, builds the Falcons and really brings the team together, that's my big drive this year, is to really build this team up so we're a fine-tuned humming machine going forward for the season.
And Matt, you're at the stadium pretty much at 7, 8 in the morning, leaving out of there late at night too as well. So this is an everyday process where you're on your feet almost 10, 12 hours of the day, Matt.
Yeah. A lot of my position now as a senior executive chef is the planning. And I used to, as executive chef, you're always looking, days and weeks out. Now in my current position, I'm looking months out. So there's a lot of fun projects that I'm able to work on now with the different, clubs that are getting built, this Molly Bees Club. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into that. And then really just fine tuning our systems. I created, how we operate this building back in 2017. But I never want to be stagnant. So I'm always recreating and redeveloping our systems and SOPs and processes that we, created, and making them better, because just because something works today doesn't mean it's going to work tomorrow. So if there's a better way to do something and someone brings it up, let's run with it. I'm never the type to, just be stagnant and think that my way is the right way. So that's a big drive this year as well, is to just redevelop and look at every process to make sure that what we do, is perfect every step of the way.
I'm glad you stood up and turned the camera around to the stadium too as well. That's not a green screen behind you for fans that's thinking, oh, he's sitting on a green screen. No. He is live at the stadium. So I remember last time you was on the field too as well, walking around that area. You had a situation where you was dealing with the, I think that was Copa. You had to go deal with some, the cooking for Copa and some of the executives that were coming in for the FIFA committee, I think it was, that you said were coming in for that game too as well.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah. It feels like ages ago. Yeah. We had the, I did a tasting for the FIFA committee. And I think we had Copa the next day. So that was a very busy week, but that's how we roll. There's always something going on here in the stadium.
Falcon fans, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Foodies, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. When you come to the stadium, you're going to enjoy some good food, and you're going to see a great time with the Atlanta Falcons this year. I can guarantee you that. Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson. The whole team is stacked. Defense, Grady Jarrett, Jesse Bates, AJ Terrell, Caden Ellis, Nate Landman. I mean, the 53-man roster is set. The team is ready to go. I think they're out there practicing today too as well. So Falcon fans, be prepared for what's getting ready to happen. Chef Matt, where can we follow you on social media? I know we have your Instagram too as well. Do you have a Twitter page, LinkedIn, anything that anybody can follow you? Because I'm sure people's going to have a lot more questions than what they asked today.
So I appreciate the question. At Stadium Chef is my Instagram. I got to get better at social media and just promoting, what we do here.
You're only averaging 100 million views, Matt. I mean, come on.
I need the other ones, the Instagram, the LinkedIn. I mean, those are good resources. So I need to get better at that. But right now, it's just the Instagram. So hopefully soon I'll get into those other platforms as well. But right now I love sharing videos, pictures, behind the scenes of what we do. So definitely stay tuned and look out for the stuff that we do post.
Hey, this is great, Falcon fans. Well, quickly though, you said over 100 million views. How is your phone during that time for anybody that's never experienced and having a video over 100 million views? Like,
yeah.
Are you just getting like just follows and tweets and ads and people just trying to like find out who you are? Is it like Good Morning America trying to call you? Is like, Forbes magazine calling you? Like, this video went viral, man.
Yeah. So I posted that, I don't even know, it was probably 3 months ago now.
Mhm.
And I've had my notifications off for 3 months, if that tells you anything, because every second of the day there's a comment, there's a like, there's something. And it was, in the beginning, it was too much. I had to turn off the notifications because it was every second it would flash. And it sounds like that'd be cool. Obviously you gain some followers and you get some traction there. And I, got to meet some cool people, and then seeing Shaq recreate that video on TBS was amazing. But yeah, it's 3 months in now, and I still have my notifications off because it's just constantly still hitting. But I looked at it the other day. That's when I noticed it hit 100 million views, and just thought, like, how many people is that really? How many people is 100 million if you think about it? I mean, that's insane to think about. So it's definitely cool. I was able to speak to it a little more because there was some negative press and media that came out of that. But like we talked in the beginning, hopefully there's an understanding of what it takes to do high volume, cooking behind the scenes. But hopefully we'll do another viral video that'll take off and kind of share what we do. With the different departments. That's something I want to try to highlight is that conversions that I was talking about, the overnight flip. Like those types of things I want to highlight. I would love that type of stuff to go viral so people can see what it takes to do what we do here at the stadium, not just in food and beverage, but just the entire stadium as a whole.
Hey, Chef Matt, we definitely appreciate you joining us here at One Time for the Fan. Hopefully we didn't put a block in your schedule because you have so much to do. Georgia, Clemson tomorrow too as well. Any shout outs, Chef Matt? You talked about a lot of people from the stadium to a lot of folks that you worked with in the food industry. Like, any shout outs you want to give before you go ahead and get up out of here?
Yeah, I think honestly the whole team. So one thing that I'm kind of cognizant of is coming on a podcast like this or Good Morning Atlanta that I'm going on next week. And I don't ever want it to come off like, this is me, I'm the one that does this, because that's definitely not the case. It takes an army, a literal army, to do what we do. I am at the top, and I am pulling a lot of those strings and creating the blueprints and the plans for it to happen. But none of that happens without the staff, right? I talked about 100 cooks in the kitchen right now. If those 100 cooks weren't here right now, then I wouldn't be successful. That number one in food and beverage wouldn't have happened 7 years in a row. And that's just the cooks, right? We have an entire management team made up of about 50 people that operate this.
He's still here. Let MBS reset for a second. Sorry. There he goes.
Okay, so yeah, I was basically just wanting to highlight the different teams that it takes to do what we do, from front of house to the concessions teams, to the DO and VP, who is super supportive of what we do and what I do here as well. So it's a team effort. This isn't just the Chef Matt show. This is the entire team that's dedicated to excellence and making this building operate as it does. And then on the flip side, you have all the other departments I spoke of, and I know I'm missing a bunch, from just engineering, right? We have hundreds and hundreds of pieces of equipment in this building, and I have the engineering team on radio every day, and it's, hey, an oven's out, a fryer's out, the cooler went down, and they're constantly running around, making adjustments and fixing things. So there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. So it's definitely a team effort in this building. And again, I can't say enough how much I want to highlight the fact that it takes an army to operate this building, not just for food and beverage. The entire stadium does an amazing job, and it all comes from the top. We've talked about that, and that all comes from Arthur. His brainchild of this thing is why we're at where we are right now, because of him and his vision and the fan friendly and the caring about the staff so much and everybody that makes this building come alive. Even the training, when you walk into Mercedes Benz Stadium, it's world class. You know that, right? The training that goes into it There's a lot involved there that every guest that walks in matters. And we want to make sure when they come in, they feel special, and they're not just a ticket. They're not just $1. It's well beyond that. We care about every fan and making sure that when they come, they have a world-class experience here at Mercedes-Benz.
Man, you're hearing it first from Chef Matt Cooper. Terry, any final words here for Chef Matt?
I do. You mentioned preparation, and I got to be honest. At this point now, I've probably been to about 5 or 6 Atlanta Falcons games. So in no way am I an expert, but every time I'm there, it seems like this thing runs like clockwork. I would think in the back of my mind that, do you guys run readiness drills? And when I say that, I mean, okay, this stove is out. What do you do? Do you guys? It would.
He has a backup plan for the backup plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I know I say a lot. I appreciate what you just said, but that is why I work as hard as I do, is so someone like you that comes in, it looks like a well-oiled machine and everything just runs and operates. That does not happen by chance. That happens by preparation and always making sure you double and triple check everything. So today is the day before the game. So today we have every department and every cook that is going to go to each club space, every kitchen. We have, dozens of kitchens around the stadium, and it's everything that we did all week and everything we do today to make sure when we come in tomorrow, everything's where it needs to be. The vessels are there, the prep is there, the people are here, and then it can run like a well-oiled machine. So we don't necessarily run ready drills, but we do double and triple check every single thing that we do. And there is a lot of computer work that goes into that. So if you think of, the main kitchen, we have one big kitchen, and from an outsider's perspective, they can look in and go, oh my God, that is massive, but it's not. It gets really small, really quick when you're firing food for 70,000 people. And you have to share that space. So we have 4 departments that share that main kitchen. So each piece of equipment, we have to figure out how long does it take to fry 180 cases of chicken wings. And those are, 10, 15 pound cases. So boom, there's 1,000 pounds of chicken wings that needs to be cooked. How long is that going to take? What pan is it going in? How's the hot box moving all throughout the building? All the cold food that's prepared ahead of time. How does that get moved throughout the building? And then just going in order. So catering, those 50 events that we fire for catering, every single menu is different. So it's not like you just have a bulk amount of food that you put in an oven and take it out. We have to go through and create a fire timeline on when every single piece of food needs to be fired in the oven, when it needs to come out of the oven, when it needs to be in a hot box, when it needs to push out of the kitchen, and then when it needs to go to wherever it needs to go, because that matters too. You got elevators that take time. You have to think of all those logistics. Yeah. So there's a lot of work that goes into the front end to make sure that we are successful and it looks like it's a well-oiled machine. And that's probably the hardest part of this job, is just the timing piece and ensuring that, no stone is unturned, and we have like you said, a backup plan for a backup plan. So, showing the inner workings of how we operate is something that I try to do. I don't think I do a good job of that because, I've only shared, brief amount inside the kitchen on how we operate, but hopefully this year you'll get to kind of see the inner workings and how we do feed 70,000 people and how it all comes together, like that 1,000,000-piece jigsaw puzzle I was talking about.
Hey, you're making people hungry in the chat.
So obviously you're doing something right. But that really, I like it because what it suggests is that you guys take into account the variables in your formula. So when you say, okay, well, how long does it take to cook this? Okay, what's the temperature? What about this factor? What about how long did it sit out? All of that has to be taken into account. And I'm a planner, so I can relate to that. So
you can relate to that. Yep.
Yeah. Chef Matt, last question in the chat. Do you handpick your chefs that are under you?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that. This industry, and especially this building, is definitely not meant for everybody. It takes a special breed of somebody to come in and do what we do. And the time I invest and the energy I invest in this rolls all the way down. So all the chefs that are here, even if they're a sweet chef, they still help out with catering and concessions. So you definitely have to know what you're getting yourself into. But yeah, I'll do. I do tastings all the time for chefs, and I will not just pick somebody just because we need somebody. It has to be the right person. Funny story, my concession chef now, Scott Coleman, he DM'd me on Instagram probably 6 months ago. He was a chef up in Pittsburgh, not for the company I work for a separate company, kind of a younger chef in the industry, wanting to understand how to kind of move up. And he had some logistics questions, which is my favorite part of this job. And the questions he was asking me, I knew instantly that he understood this line of work, and especially concessions. That's the hardest position to fill because it's a beast, right? You have 50 stands. They're basically 50 standalone restaurants that operate, and you have 5 to 6 cooks in every single one of those stands, and they have to know exactly what they're doing, how to build the item, how long it needs to cook. So when I noticed that he understood that in the position he was currently at, I gave him an opportunity, or asked him if he wanted an opportunity to come work here. And I flew him down and had him, see a game and just see what the vibe is here at the stadium, if it fits for him as well. And then I had him do a tasting, and he's now my concessions chef. And he's been here a few months now and does an amazing job. So yeah, it's not made for everybody, but when you have the experience, then, and you know what you're getting into, then let's go. I'm always looking for chefs, always looking for cooks. So bring it on if you're a fan of it.
You're hearing it, JK, first from Chef Matt, Jamal Hill too as well. He's giving folks opportunities here. So if you are in the culinary arts field, if you are looking to get into that that line of work too as well. I mean, Jamal Hill, I think you said he's an engineer now, but he still has a passion to go back into culinary art school. So if you want to do it, reach out to Chef Matt. You never know where it can end up, man. But Chef Matt, absolutely. I do thank you because this is great talking Falcons football. I will let you know that you just been added to the list of special guests where we tell it's about 20, 25 minutes. We'll get you out. And then an hour later, we'll still talk. So
no, I love it.
It happens.
I love it. I love these
It happens
talks.
here one time for the fan. You mentioned you're going to reach out. I think you have a show with Buck Brooks from Fox 5 coming up next week.
Yeah. Yep.
So we also have Miles Garrett on Sunday. We have Miles Garrett from Fox 5.
Oh, that's awesome.
On Sunday talking Falcons football. So you see how we're still working together here. It doesn't matter if it's about the Falcons on the field or away from the Falcons when it comes to operations at the Mercedes Benz Stadium. But I do thank you so much for joining us here. JK, he's in the chat now. He wants to know what's the salary for a chef or a line cook, if you don't mind me asking. Do we want to ask this on the camera? Or we get off of this one?
Yeah. I can hit you up on the side if you're interested in that.
Absolutely. DMs over
it's a good question. It's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, let's make sure knows that.
That's the definition of Pandora's box right there. Yep. I know some of my cooks will probably watch this or are watching this, so definitely I can hit you up on the side if you're interested.
Hey, Falcon fans.
Thank you, Pamela.
Chat with the great show. Chef Matt, we do thank you. We definitely have to get you back here on the channel. See Thomas Scott. A couple of people getting ready to ask some questions here. We have the Chef's Corner segment that we're trying to work on with you. I know your schedule is super busy. So I will definitely give you all the details about that. Oh, Thomas Scott wants to know, what's a good tailgate dip?
Good tailgate dip. Buffalo chicken dip. Buffalo chicken dip. Look up a recipe for that. I can give you our recipe that we serve in sweets. Really, really good stuff. It goes good with any kind of chip. But yeah, buffalo chicken dip. Really, really good. DM me and I'll shoot you a recipe.
Buffalo chicken dip. Thomas Scott, Rise Up Tour fan club. A lot of people in here giving their shout outs. What's up, Terry?
That's some time for the game tomorrow. If you're not going to the stadium, maybe tonight you can fix some buffalo chicken dip and you can watch it in your home and enjoy it. So yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Chip matter?
All chips matter.
Does chip matter? All chips matter. All chips are not created equally.
Falcon fans, hit that like, share, and subscribe button for Chef Matt. Chef Matt, we're going to take about another 15 minutes and talk some Falcons now. I know you got a lot of things to do. We're going to follow you on IG, and we'll definitely bring you back to the podcast so fans can ask some more questions. But this is great. This was what Breakfast with One Time for the Fan is all about. Next time, Matt, if you want to take us to the kitchen and show us what's going on for breakfast over there in your world. Because I'm sure fans want to know, what does Chef Matt eat? What does Chef Matt do in his spare time? We talked the whole hour today about the operations behind Mercedes Benz. Let's bring Chef Matt back next time and find out who is Chef Matt behind the scenes of just the football and the food and everything. We want to know what you do at home. Do you play pool? Do you play spades? Like just certain things that fans just want to know about you, Matt. So we'll get you back on the podcast. I thank you so much, man. I'll definitely reach out to you.
Thank you.
As soon as we get off, brother.
Cool. Take care, everybody. Appreciate the time, and I will see you next time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one, brother. This what it's all about. I told you. I told you.
I am so hungry right now. Oh,
I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Chef Matt Cooper, senior executive Chef Matt. I'm not even fully awake yet, man. I was up last night whooping them boys up in that doggone esports tournament, man. Terry, I didn't stream it, but I had a great night last night. Then this morning, dropping the kids off, and then knowing the podcast was at 9 with Chef Matt and you yourself, and the chat was going to be live and lit. That's what I'm talking about when we can get special guests on here to talk about things away from football. Like we mentioned Raheem maybe twice, mentioned Kirk Cousins maybe a few times, but now fans can see behind the scenes what goes on at Mercedes Benz Stadium, the preparation, right? What it takes, the leadership, the accountability of not just senior executive Chef Matt, but from everybody that works at the stadium. He gave a shout out to conversions team that flips the stadium from soccer to football, right? He gave a shout out to the security team that's over there. He gave a shout out to the housekeeping. Gave a shout out to his cooks too as well. That's working in 3 different levels of the stadium. He said he's doing 20 miles damn near a day at the stadium. That's a good workout.
That is a great workout.
You don't even need Planet Fitness membership for that.
20 miles? No, you don't.
What did he go spend $99 at LA Fitness for when I walk in the stadium 20 miles?
Yeah, exactly.
20 miles?
And Jack, the thing about him is he feels genuine. You know what I mean? Like that he feels genuine. This young man has worked hard to get where he is. He's the real deal.
He is.
And it was so much fun just getting to know him and understanding his thought processes. Because let me tell you something, man. In any organization, there are people who earned it and people who it was given to. Mm-hmm. And he's definitely one that's earned it. You know what I mean?
He mentioned it. He mentioned what he went through too as well to get where he is.
Yeah.
And you can hear it when he talks.
Yes.
Like he talks with pride about his job.
Yes.
He talks with pride about being the senior executive chef for making sure. He mentioned Arthur Blank.
Yes.
This is in the position of food and beverage at the Mercedes Benz. He mentioned Arthur Blank. That right there shows that I'm telling you, it's from the fan for the fan. I will go get the head of security and bring him to the channel if you want me to. It's from the fan for the fan. You heard it from Chef Matt. He mentioned family. He mentioned family environment. He mentioned fan friendly. He mentioned this. This is what Chef Matt was talking about. Right? Yeah. Big shout out to Jamal Hill with the trade of Taylor Heineke. What player or position do you guys think that spot was opened up for? Man, I can tell you right now, I'm looking at, if it's not wide receiver, it's corner. Unless you keep a backup quarterback on the practice squad and you dress out 2 quarterbacks. I don't want to be in a position where, remember the 49ers had that situation where they were down to a 3rd quarterback one time. That's where the whole Josh Johnson, you have to keep that 3rd quarterback type of thing on your roster, whatever it was. Yeah. That nonsense. Because the 49ers got beat up pretty bad and they had Josh Johnson in the game or something like that. Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen to us. But some fans would say, well, you need to go get a 3rd quarterback.
Knock on wood. Yeah, I do feel like you need a 3rd quarterback, but
I would keep one on the practice squad and keep a guy that you can use for depth or a guy you can use now. Some people are saying Richie Grant's going to be up out of here before the trade deadline.
I heard that.
Talks of the Broncos looking into him. Sports Illustrated had posted some for the fans that mentioned it. Big shout out to the fans because people do chat. But if he is going to be gone, then, it's going to be for a pick. Like the Taylor Heineke move was smart too as well because you're losing the 5th for tampering. And then you just got back the conditional 7th, the 6th. So if you do get another guy, if you do get a chance to make a move and they get a chance to bring in another pick for next year, Terry's just loading up for next year. But they still have to go get the extension going. You still got to go sign Terry for the next couple of years now. Let's keep Terry in here. But what player do I think it is? It's probably a corner. Looking at the roster, a corner or a wide receiver. How much is Cordero Hodges going to be used in this line, in this roster, in this scheme? How much is Casey Washington going to be using this scheme? I mean, we know how much Bijan and Kyle Pitts should be getting this offseason. Drake London, too, as well, when the season starts. Right? So you got to look at that, too, as well. I mean, I had a good time talking with Chef Matt. I want to go back to talking food now.
I'm hungry now.
I just want to go back to talking food.
I just want to eat.
Like he got me on a level like I want to go into culinary art school.
Well,
like
I just want to eat, Jack. I mean, you guys have me so hungry. I'm a big guy. I obviously eat, but I'm so hungry right now. My stomach is like
You
blazed.
hear what Chef Matt talked about, and you got to go sit in line at McDonald's in the next couple of minutes. Like, this is not what Chef Matt talked about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. It is the polar opposite, right? It is the antithesis of what Chef Matt was talking about. But let's get to these Falcons, Jack.
Yeah.
Let's get to these Falcons. So uh I think we've arrived at the what's bugging T Will section. I am hungry, Smitty. What do you want? Um so doing a podcast yesterday with Jordan Burden. Shout out to Jordan, by the way, with Old Legacy, Chris A1 from day one from A1 Forever Sports, and my man Smitty 11K from Smitty Sports Machine and 95 North. And one point that came up was that Jesse Tuggle should have been in the Hall of Fame 10 years ago. And I agree with it. And I think it's just a shame that, yeah, Jesse didn't, every team that Jesse played on wasn't great, but what the man contributed to the linebacker position, if he played for the Giants, he'd be in the Hall of Fame 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So I just feel like there needs to be a push to get Jesse in the Hall of Fame. And maybe if our Falcons can win the Super Bowl this year, it will change the narrative. And we can hopefully do that. But that's what's bugging me this morning. I thought about that last night. I thought about not only did Jesse contribute to us directly and give us a Hall of Fame performance, but he sired. You know what that word means. Our one of our greatest defensive linemen present day, which is Grady Jarrett. So I just think Jesse should be in the Hall of Fame. I think it's a shame that he's not. And that's what's bugging me this morning, Jack. What say
But
you?
looking at the way that they do the Hall of Fame too, as well. I think I think there's going to be an opportunity for him to get to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I don't think it's just rolled around just yet.
yeah.
But I think there's going to be an opportunity for him. Now you got to look at Hall of Famers for the Falcons right now. I think Jake Matthews is one that fans need to be talking about. Could he make the Hall of Fame once he retires too as well? Matt Ryan too as well, right? I mean, Julio Jones. Once
Mhm.
they get to that point, will they make the Hall of Fame? I mean, it's just something to look at, for fans for the future. Of course, I don't think it's going to happen this year or next year, but
I think
for the future, as names start to continue to roll out for Hall of Fame, I can possibly see Jesse Douglas' name too in there.
yeah.
But I want to give a shout out to you all with that show last night too, as well. I did get a chance to catch some of it when I got off work late, and that's what that was the call I had to take right there. Got one of the new employees I'm working on training, so he
Gotcha.
didn't know where to park and everything, so I had to help him out.
Right.
But Terry, man, big shout out to you, Smitty, Jordan, A1. Those type of podcasts are great for Falcon fans because it doesn't talk about just the now. It talks about the past, present, and the future
Yeah.
too as well. I got a little bit of that watching the video. Seeing you guys break down the best quarterbacks and running backs and so forth with the Falcons. And I'm looking at it thinking, well, they're not even talking about like Kirk Cousins or Bijan Robinson on a Thursday night. They're
Mhm.
talking about all time.
Yeah.
Right. So Falcon fans that was in the chat enjoying that. That's what you get from some of these content creators. It doesn't have to be just about the now with the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, you guys talk for what, an hour and some change, or even more than that,
It was 2 hours, I think. It was 2
2
hours.
hours and some change about the all-time Falcons list.
I
Right.
tell
So big shout out to everybody over there.
you what was interesting about that. I was laughing at Smitty's comment. I'm not thinking about you, Smitty. Dion was not the number one cornerback. So
Mhm.
I would invite you guys to watch it because it was very interesting, right? And look, whenever you think cornerback, you think number one Dion, duh, right? He was not the number one corner. Now he was on the list, but he was not number one. So if
Mhm.
you want to know like how this decision was, I don't know, just the catalyst or the genesis for how we arrived at this decision, you can watch the show. You can watch it at For My ATL Sports One. And hey, drop a like and subscribe. But no, it was a great show last night, Jack. We did kind of go through all of the greatest Falcons at every position. And a lot of it is what you would expect, but some of it would actually surprise you. So it was very fun to do. Jordan is a very innovative, very smart guy, and of course, Smitty and A1 are just. I love those guys because they make me laugh and they're really smart and they talk Falcons. And Smitty's knowledge of just Falcons past and present. Smitty has a great, great, great knowledge of that. So he was calling up guys that I had forgotten about long ago. So interesting show. Those of you who want to know about, best all-time Falcons, I would invite you to check it out. Former ATL Sports 1 at YouTube. And Jack, let's get back to the present.
Hey, chat is live. Chat is lit. Smitty's in the chat with prediction for week 1. I'll just say a win for right now.
I'm going to say a win.
Just say a win.
I'm going to say
just a quick Waffle House hot huddle take. ATL Georgia faithful. How y'all think Hugh's going to do? I mean, if everybody around you do your job, I heard Matt Ryan say just do your effing job. If everybody around you does their job, Mike Hughes will be fine. There's going to be some times they're going to target him, but you got Van Jefferson week 1. Like, lock up. Lock up. You got Van Jefferson. Like, put me out there. Put me out there, Raheem. I'll lock up Van Jefferson. Come on.
80. Oh, wait. I thought you were 80 on the run.
I do play a little DB on the side.
Oh.
Fans, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Auntie Pam is in the chat. Chef Matt was a nice change of pace. That's what we bring here to One Time for the Fan, Auntie Pam. And you know it from podcasting too as well. You just think of things that fans would love to hear, right? Because you saw we brought DJ J Envy here to the channel too as well. The Atlanta Falcons DJ. So what's up, Terry?
I'd love to have him back.
I mean, he's definitely coming back to the podcast. And you already know he's on the road with us coming up soon, man. We got a lot going on with J Envy. But he's just a great guy. Chef Matt, another great guy. And then Sunday night, we're going to be here 7:30 Sunday night. 7:30 for a special podcast. We have our boy, our good friend, Myles Garrett from Fox 5 Atlanta joining us to come talk about what else than the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know if he wants to talk food with us, but we could definitely ask him some questions about that.
He might want to talk. He might want to talk a little Braves, a little Falcons.
He might want to talk a little Braves, might talk a little dogs, too as well. I mean, he is a fan of all different types of sports. When I talk about, he's probably talk about the Olympics too as well. Maybe some golf too as well with Myles Garrett. But this is not the Myles Garrett that's taking off helmets and hitting people up in Cleveland. This is the Myles Garrett from Fox 5 Atlanta.
That's a big guy. Yeah.
So big shout out to Myles Garrett, who's going to be joining us. Big shout out to Chef Matt Cooper too as well, because he's done a great job with everything at the stadium. And right now, as we're still here talking about the Atlanta Falcons, he's probably off doing something that has to do with fan friendly pricing for a future event, or food items for tomorrow, Georgia Clemson. I mean, they're doing a lot at the stadium, and I want to give my my shout out to Chef Matt for taking an hour out of his day. 100 million views on a mop sauce video, and he gets an hour over here at One Time for the Fan.
Bro, that's a second phone is what that is. Okay?
Bro, that's your agent, bro. That's straight up agent. You give me 100 million views right now on one of these videos, bro, I'm getting an agent, bro. We're going everywhere. We're going Good Morning America, bro. We're going what else? CNN, whatever.
Hey, speaking of agents, hey, Terry F. Baby, how you doing? Yeah, this is T. Will. Yeah,
hey, that QB3 spot is still open. I'm telling you right now. Until they call Jack Spade, that QB3 spot is still open. But get ready for the Falcons news.
How do you watch the show and you not know that I'm on the show? It's not just Jack Spade. Yes, I'm also an agent. I'm on the show. I'm on the show right now. I'm not yelling. Okay.
Terry F. Baby's on the phone with T. Will. Terry.
Okay, look.
Oh my gosh!
You just traded Heineke, right? You just right. We have the tape of him throwing 80 on the run. I know you saw it. It was phenomenal.
I have the tape.
It is cinema copy, unbeknownst to you.
Falcon fans, hit the like, share, subscribe button. T was over here speaking with Terry F. Baby. Chandra Walton is in the chat.
Okay. Okay. Look, can we meet? You guys are starting the game like the season starts September the 8th. Can you just come in and have Jack come in for a workout and just check them out? You can do that. What do you mean?
Is that a yes? Is that a yes or a no?
What do you mean 6 months from now? The season starts September the 8th.
No, we're not doing 6 months from now. You go ahead and end that call. You go ahead and end that call. We don't do 6 months from now. Chandra Walton's in the chat.
Hey, I tried, man. I tried.
But why even mention the 6 months wait for me? I'm right here. It's the podcast. We're live. Like, why not say, hey,
agent's
it
job
says show up tomorrow.
Jack. It's an agent's job. Look, I'm working on them.
But do like an agent, like try to prepare me for like, oh, don't worry, they're gonna call you back tomorrow when they know they're not gonna call me tomorrow.
I'm working them down, Jack.
You gotta talk to me like an agent. Hey man, just keep getting in the gym, just stay in shape. Don't worry, they're gonna call you. They're not gonna call you. Chandra Walton.
Pull them down, right? That's what I'm wearing them down, Jack. I'm wearing them
What
down.
restaurant is the Mac sold at the Benz? He said the Mac Shack is a place to look for. They're on different levels at the stadium, the Mac Shack. So if you're going around and you see the Mac Shack, just remember that Chef Matt with the lobster mac and cheese. That's something to look forward to too as well. The Buffalo, what he said, the Buffalo tailgate dip. What was it? Buffalo Ranch? Terry?
Do not add what you want to his recipe.
What was it?
Buffalo dip. Okay.
The Buffalo dip.
Buffalo chip dip. And all chips matter.
Buffalo chip dip. Okay.
Tostitos, Lay's, Ruffles. Okay. Doesn't matter what the chip is.
All chips matter.
It's all about the dip. Just saying.
Push-ups for subs in the chat. Let's go, Falcons family. Smitty Sports Machine asking, can we get Michael Parsons trade talks going? What? Gosh, ask the agent next time. Can we get the Michael? Oh, you're talking about Terry F. Baby. Next time you call Terry F. Baby, let's get those Michael Parsons trade talks.
You don't even know that I work on this show.
You
I don't
think
know what's going on?
That's a tough move, Michael Parsons trade talks. Even if that's like a future move for next year. I mean, we got Judon, right? If Judon's still gonna be here, like that's gonna be a nice move, man.
Kyle, you still got to sign Kyle.
You got to sign Jack Spade. So what kind of contract would you be looking for, Jack? I don't need much. I'm good financially. I'm good. Falcons don't have to pay me much. Just put me in the game and let me continue the podcast. Hell, let me just podcast from the sideline before I get in the game.
What's the league minimum, Jack? Is it it's 500,000?
It's like 500,000.
The league minimum is for a player. Yeah. Somebody.
Fans, we have a good time on these shows, man. Even this morning, what 30 minutes, probably like 15 minutes out of the whole show, we talk Falcons. Everything else was about Chef Matt, what he got going on at the stadium, and that's why we continue to do these podcasts, because it's going to be days like this. Next week, we really get going. Myles Garrett Sunday night. When we talking Falcons football about the future of these Falcons and Raheem Morris and Kirk Cousins, and bring your questions to the chat. The show Sunday night is about the chat. So bring your questions for Myles Garrett. There's questions that y'all ask us all the time, and we give y'all the answer to it. We give y'all opinions and our thoughts. We bring the facts. But ask Myles Garrett Sunday night, somebody who's really close to the Atlanta Falcons, right? So we can all get through this together. So then when it comes to the next podcast, we have something to go off of. Myles told us this. He told us this. He told us that. Things that we know that Myles can say, because he's a journalist that reports for the Atlanta Falcons. So this is going to be great. Even with the last roster spot, that's a question for Myles Garrett. Who does Jack Spade think they're going to pick up? I think a corner or a wide receiver. But Myles might have a more detailed answer that you guys can say, oh, that's interesting. That's something to look at. Remember we interviewed Myles last year. We had him on the podcast when he had talked to Terry right after the combine, right? Or right before the combine. You know what I'm saying? So we got a chance to hear from Myles. What was Terry's thoughts going into the combine? These are questions for Myles, right? So 8 o'clock, let's get Myles in here. I'm sorry, 7:30, because Myles got some stuff to do. So 7:30, we have our, I guess what, pre-game pop-up podcast before the podcast, I guess, because our normal time is 8, but we're going to do it at 7:30 Sunday with Myles Garrett from Fox 5 Atlanta. And this is like his what? Like 8th or 9th time being on one time for the fan.
Yeah, I think he's characteristic beat. I think he just
he's been on here he's been on here a lot. Myles Garrett, we had to give him the award. And of course, Myles Garrett, he's doing a lot for Fox 5 Atlanta too as well. What time Sunday? I may have to jump on that show. That is a Sunday at 7:30 show. I don't know if we're gonna have Bodie and Carrie stop by too as well, Smitty. So let me check with Bodie and Carrie and see. I don't want to just do the full panel, but I want to make sure I have Bodie and Carrie on too as well, because Bodie's missed some shows too as well, because he's been dealing with his his arthritis in his left shoulder from carrying these boards around the side of the house. I told him don't carry the boards. It's about about he had about 30 4x8s. I said don't carry it around the side because they're still doing construction on the side of the yard over there, and if you don't have the right shoes on, you can slip and fall. And Bodie, I got this. I've been carrying boards my whole life. He go walking around the side and he doesn't hurt himself. So
Stay rough on Jack. 15-yard penalty. Now I'm not gonna let you abuse our podcast mate. 15-yard penalty. I'm gonna call a whistle myself. On Jack. Unnecessary bullying of Bodie. Jack, I think
get Miles a one time for the fan shirt. It's gonna be great times. But yeah, Smitty, I'll let you know, man. I will let you know for Sunday night. But Falcon fans, this is great when you're talking Falcons football with everybody from the chat to the panel to Apple Podcast listeners, Amazon Podcast listeners, Spotify, and so on. And like I said, the support for One Time for the Fan has just been crazy. So thank you all for everything that you guys do for One Time for the Fan. The YouTube partner program is a success. I see the email right here. It just hit my Gmail about 5 minutes ago. So, yep, we are partnered with YouTube now. So, big shout out to everybody who helped One Time for the Fan reach that level.
Yes.
Because we do this show for you all. Yes. And we're going to continue doing this show. We're going to continue bringing more special guests. Myles Garrett Sunday night. Of course, we have Eric Parker in the works. Big shout out to New Millennial Falcons. I've also reached out to Damsky. We got a good old Damsky who's going to be joining us soon too as well. So a lot of Falcon fans this season, a lot of content creators will be joining us too as well. You never know who we can get here on One Time for the Fan. Terry, I think you're in the chat with us at One Time for the Fan, and you saw what Kerry posted the other day. You never know who we can get here with One Time. Hit a Menace to Society about 10:30. You never know who we can get here with One Time for the Fan. Because people love talking Falcons football in a positive way, and that's what we do at One Time for the Fan. Jeremiah Williams said, Jack, you're going to be at the rally next Friday? I think I should be at the rally. I'll let you all know. Possibly. But if I'm not, then y'all go out there and have a good time. I think 2 Chainz is performing. They're going to have some Falcon players. The team store's right over there too as well. But there's a lot of fans from this chat that's going to be there too as well. So Jeremiah Williams, you might run into Lisa Shepard, right? You might run into Jamal Hill. You never know. You might run into Thomas Scott. Push up for subs because everybody here is a Falcon fan except for that one Jaguars fan who's just randomly lurking in the chat. But this is great. Talking Falcons football. Jamal Hill said, Uncle Smitty, I seen you short yesterday. Do you think signing Monty Rice was just a precaution? Oh, you're just asking the question for Jamal Hill. I'm sorry for Smitty. Falcons did sign Monty Rice to the practice squad. A couple more names they brought into as well. Our guy Elijah Wilkerson. Big shout out to Elijah Wilkerson. Big shout out to the Wilkerson family. Ed, I know you're excited right now to have your son back as a Falcon. And of course, we're going to have a great time on the road this year, man. So I got to send a message to Ed too as well. But this is great when we have Falcon fans that show up, show out at 9 in the morning, and we're going to continue this, y'all. So just set your notifications and your alerts to One Time for the Fan. Sunday nights at 8, Wednesday nights at 8, Friday mornings 9:30. So we got to make sure fans are enjoying everything we got. Terry, your shout outs, sir, before we wrap this up.
Well, first and foremost, shout out to Chef Matt. Really enjoyed the show. Just enjoyed him in general. Great to talk to him. Great to get to know the man, and was really a good time. So definitely shout out to him. Shout out to our wonderful One Time for the Fans. Fans, say that 5 times.
Yep. Hashtag the one timers.
Hey, one-timers. Shout out to all of the one-timers out there. Shout out to all the Falcon fans out there. We could not do this without you. We enjoy doing this. We will continue doing this, and let's get greater in 2024 and beyond. I really like what Chef Matt had to say. What Chef Matt had to say in regards to, look, man, if it moves you, if your heart is into it, you can do anything. That is my life. I'm all about that. And I just really enjoyed that. So again, shout out to him. Hey man, shout out to Smitty, A1, and Jordan for the podcast yesterday. Really enjoyed you guys again. You can see me obviously on this show, but as well as for my ATL Sports 1 at YouTube. Please like and subscribe to both. Please like and subscribe to One Time for the Fan and like and subscribe to For My ATL Sports 1. Hey, shout out to God. Thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank you for everything that you have done and continue to do. And last but not least, shout out to Brother Jack. Hey man, as long as you keep inviting me, I'll keep coming back. Love doing this with you. And let's get greater. Jack, I'm gonna defer to you. Go right ahead.
Hey, Falcon fans, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. One time, hashtag 1Time1K. Hey, I appreciate it. Like I kept telling Terry and everybody in the chat, like 1,000 subscribers from just going live. That's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we can do 2,000, we can do 10,000, we can do 100,000, right? There's a million Falcon fans out here in the world. There's content creators everywhere, right? So big shout out to everybody who does this. But yeah, this 1,000 is cool. Let's get to it. Let's get to 100,000.
Let's do it.
Let's really let's. What's the season ticket holders for the Falcons? 75,000. Let's get there. Let's get 75,000 season ticket holders in here.
Let's do it.
Right. This is what it's about, Falcon fans. At the end of the day, it's from the fan. It's for the fan. That's what you heard today from Chef Matt. You heard it from a business perspective. You heard it from a logistics level that Chef Matt has to handle behind the scenes with executives and people flying in town to do taste testings for events coming up. And like, just imagine, see, when I asked the question about 2031 with the Final Four that they announced yesterday, I'm sure Chef Matt's like, whoa, how do I transition this to a basketball thing if it's 7 years from now? Because the first time this is going to be the first time the stadium is going to have basketball being played in the stadium. They was going to do it in 2020, but COVID hit. But even what he mentioned about the for housekeeping, what they do with the recycling and compost of food.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. He has to think about that when he's just cooking, when he's just doing the food. That's even bigger than just the game itself sometimes. Like behind the scenes, the operation is a lot, Terry.
Ripping up the trash bags and going through and separate, like that's a lot, man. That. What impressed me most about him is that he is very detailed, very granular, very organized, extremely organized, extremely positive, and forward thinking. Right.
Yeah. When he said the backup plan to the backup plan of the backup plan, lets you know that in that position that he's in for 70,000 people, if something goes wrong in one area for food and beverage, that could mess up multiple areas.
Yeah.
So he has to have a backup plan in place and then a backup plan on top of that. And he has to move forward. He said people that run away from it, he's going toward it.
Yeah.
Right. Those are what you're hearing about accountability, leadership. That's Raheem. It's like Raheem speaking to you on a food and beverage level. Right. He even mentioned that the interview with Raheem too as well. And like he said, he's doing a million things. He might hear the horn or the train horn go off for the soccer game. Oh, we scored. Okay, back to work.
Well, it's like being a role player on a team, Jack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's
everybody score a touchdown. Some guys, your job is just to block. Sometimes your job is to block. Sometimes your job is to go down and tackle the guy running.
Seems like Chef Matt is your Travis Hunter. If you want to look at college football, he's your wide receiver and your cornerback. He's a big part of both sides of the ball.
Yeah. So
he's going. Big shot to Chef Matt. Lisa Shepard said good stuff from Chef Matt today. We got the Chef's Corner segment that we're working on. Chef Matt, you see how busy it is, even to get him on last week because they were working on the Molly B's area. He left there almost like 6 in the morning just to work on the area and then come back and then go finish doing what? Working on the area. So it's not just about, just food. He's in the kitchen cooking. No, he has hands-on with this stuff. Right? So big shout out to Chef Matt and what he has going on too as well. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Can't thank you all enough. Terry, Sunday, 7:30. Miles Garrett from Fox 5 Atlanta will be here. Please, Falcon fans. I think he's going to be in the studio too as well. So please, Falcon fans, get your questions ready. Let's have respect for Miles' time too as well, because I don't know if he can stay a full hour. Me and Terry and Carrie and one time we had a bunch of questions for Miles too as well. that might play into some of the questions in the chat. So if we don't ask your question, don't get upset about it. We might have already asked the question, in a different way. So we just want to make sure that fans can get their questions into Miles, because it's from the fan, it's for the fans. We want to make sure you guys get a chance to speak to Miles. Some of you guys can't talk to Miles, on Twitter, or some of you fans are shy about asking questions, with a worldwide view of it on social media. But you can come over here one time for the fan and ask Miles a bunch of questions. He's been here like 10 times already. Jamal Hill, he's extremely passionate about his job. Work doesn't seem like work when you enjoy what you do. Jamal Hill, you're definitely telling the truth about that. Primetime Matt, we need another tight end. What do y'all think? Kyle Pitts is going to be used probably more in a receiver role, might get into a couple blocking schemes every now and then, but I think that's where Charlie Warner comes in. And then Ross Duelny's like, are the Falcons going to really look at him to say this can be our, the Joker, maybe when it comes to the tight end room? Because Kyle is going to be doing a lot in that wide receiver role, helping out. I mean, whenever they can't get the ball to Drake, whenever they can't get the ball to Bijan, whenever they can't get the ball in certain situations to Ray and Darnell Mooney, there is your Kyle Pitts. People want Kyle Pitts to go for 1,000 yards. That means Kirk got to throw the shit out that ball to him. We're talking about, what? How many targets? Maybe like what? Probably 10, 15 targets maybe a game for Kyle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be targeting Kyle a lot with the backup of Bijan too as well, running the ball, and Tyler, Drake London, Darnell Mooney. Like, it's hard to say who's going to get 1,000 on this team. But I do know.
Who's your candidate for breakout player of the year, Jack? Offense and defense.
I'm definitely going to say Bijan Robinson.
Okay.
I think it's Bijan. I think it's Bijan because you're locked in on so much that Kirk can do. Yeah. And then Bijan is the running back that, all teams must have.
Yeah.
Primetime Matt, so we need another tight end, though, but maybe that's the move that they make. Maybe Ross doesn't make the 53 going forward for practice next week or going forward to the Steeler game. Maybe they release him. Maybe they go ahead and trade him. I don't know. It's possible.
What about defense?
Oh, defense, breakout. Shit. I'm going to go Grady. I'm going to go Grady. But if you want to go, if you all right, let's not go Grady.
Expect that from Grady.
Let's go Troy Anderson.
Okay. Troy's a good one. I would say Lorenzo Carter or Caden Ellis, because they are going to benefit most from Matthew Judon.
Yeah.
Rushing the pass. I think those. On defense. On offense, I don't know if you can call Mooney having a breakout season, but I think Mooney is going to benefit from double teams going to Drake and Kyle because defense are gonna have to, and you can't double team everybody. And Mooney,
I was just ready to say that it's gonna be so hard to see another team try to double team Kyle, Drake, or even Bijan if he's motioned out into the slot.
Yeah,
then it's kind of like, damn, these are weapons now you have to deal with, and some of these one-on-one matchups, every team's out there. They're gonna have some of their third and fourth string corners going up against Bijan.
Well,
third and fourth string corners going up against Kyle?
You double, right? So let's look at the first three. Let's look at Drake.
If we talk Falcons now, we're gonna be here for another 30 more minutes now, Terry.
I'm just it's on my mind. I gotta get it out, Jack. Okay, we can cut it short. Whatever. Just the question, right?
Hot take on it. Go ahead.
Of the three, right? You got Drake. You got Kyle. You got Mooney. You can't double cover all three. And if you're going to shade Kyle, Drake's going to kill you. If you're going to shade them both, Mooney was the most wide open last year. That's a documented metric. Meaning he was open by the farthest distance from any other receiver in the NFL, right? More so than CeeDee Lamb, more so than dude from the Raiders, Dante, whatever. He was the most wide open. Who are you going to double? That says to me, Mooney's going to eat. So Mooney's my sleeper. Mooney's going to eat.
I don't disagree with that because of what I've seen him do in Chicago with Justin Fields, and now he gets Kirk Cousins over here.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also looking at like an offense that's just going to be it's a well-oiled machine, like you mentioned with the stadium, like Chef Matt mentioned. I mean, Kirk Cousins just brings that leadership to your team. He brings that sense of, hey, my quarterback is prepared to go out here and win this game.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if we're down 3 or down 4, or if we're up 6 or up 7. He's going to go out here and make sure every player is better. I get that veteran presence from Kirk Cousins. Everything revolves around Kirk too as well, because of who he is and what he's done in the league. Fans are getting, as you get closer to the Steelers, they're well over the fucking torn Achilles. Now they're like, can we go out here and really win these games? Because Kirk looks good in in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the camp notes. We hear it from the players. These guys are ready to go.
Yeah, I think
Bijan just mentioned it. His quarterback is ready to go. As a fan, I got to trust the players.
Yeah,
I'm seeing that a lot of the movement that's happened this offseason, the coaches like it, the players like it, the fans like it. I mean, it's tough to go back years ago with Mariota and the last couple of years of Matt Ryan and say, were the fans really like this? Were they expecting this type of movement? Terry kind of changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
And now we see in his 4th year that Terry deserves to be here longer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would give him the extension because there's going to be more moves like this in the future. Why would Smitty come in here and mention the Michael Parsons trade talk, right? If that's something that he's even thinking about in the future, because you see what's going on in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
The starting quarterback and Jerry Jones apparently are not even getting along. And it has to do with what? A contract. Do we have contract problems here in Atlanta? No.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody who's been taken care of is taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Terry did that. Do we have any players speaking out in the locker room about locker room issues? No. Every player is excited about going in there with what? A 35-year-old quarterback. Right? $100 million guy. Nobody, is anybody mad about the 2 quarterbacks that they have in the room? About drafting a guy at 8? No. Players are taking Michael Penix under their wing. They're like, hey, come on, roll with me. We got you. Let's show you what we can do.
And to that point, that speaks to the leadership
Teamwork
of Raheem and Terry and Grady, because that wouldn't go over well in a lot of locker rooms in the NFL.
We have a
might
lot of superstars in that locker room right now. If you want to just go over,
right, but
who's in the building
from a team chemistry perspective, Jack. You bring in a guy, you pay him so much money, he's your number 1 guy, and then you draft. And I think Raheem pointed on this. He said, without Kirk being the guy he is, and without Penix being the guy he is, this doesn't work. In other words, he's alluding to the fact that they have a degree of humility. Because if both of them are like, I'm the man, this isn't going to work, and it's going to fracture a locker room. So my point is, from soup to nuts, the foundation is solid. The foundation is set. I think we're on the precipice of something great, Jack, because it's not just about X's and O's, but it's about the character of the men that you entrust to get out there and execute that plan. And I think that Penix and Kirk Cousins, or Kirk Cousins and Penix, are 2 of the finest individuals that we have on this team. So yeah, I definitely think that and it starts from the top, like Chef Matt said, starts from the top. Arthur down to Terry, down to Raheem. And I think we have a good thing going. I really do. So,
Falcon fans, we turned a shout out into more Falcons fan talk. And we knew that was going to happen. Because here at One Time for the Fan, we just can't stop talking about the Falcons.
My bad. It's my bad.
It just happens. Like, you guys are all Falcon fans. Quentin Lavender, Jamal Hill, Carey, MW, Lisa Shepard. Like, everybody here, they're all Falcon fans. So I apologize if we turned the shout out into 20 more minutes into the podcast, but that's what we do at One Time for the Fan. Terry's going to get off this podcast. He might get ready for another podcast at like 1 or 2, because why? He wants to talk Atlanta Falcons football. So for all you all here in the chat, thank you all for, I had somebody. Okay, I'm about to say, thank you all for being here tonight or this morning talking Falcons football with us. We will be back Sunday at 7:30 with Myles Garrett from Fox 5 Atlanta. So let's bring back that Falcon spirit because we are how many days away? Like 9-10 days away, I guess, from the Falcons.
Yeah, something like that.
Falcons Steelers, y'all. And for those that's talking about, the tickets and there's going to be Steeler fans and how they travel. Well, Steeler fans are going to pay anything for tickets. They just don't care. They just travel well.
They do.
Right. So for Falcon fans that's going to see maybe a bunch of Steeler fans in the building, just handle your business. You create that hostile environment for Steeler fans. Let them know that they're playing in your stadium. Not saying getting kicked out and start fights and stuff. No. Let them know that you're playing in the Benz. Right. So for the fans that's going to be in there cheering, Steeler fans are going to be up there on third down cheering for their team, on second down cheering for their team, and they're from out of town. Don't let them tell you to sit down on third down. They're standing up on first. Yeah. You got to have that hostile environment yourself here in the stadium to know that we are a fan base that's going to stand together. We're going to stick together, but we can damn sure make some noise. I think that stadium this year is just going to be rocking.
I do too.
Right? Not even just the teams that we're playing, but I think this is going to be rocking because these fans they're really bought into this. Mm-hmm. This is a season, and probably the years to come are some seasons that fans can say, I think we're going to get a Super Bowl out of this. Yeah. There is a turnaround happening here in Atlanta, and it started from the moment Raheem Morris then walked in the building. Sure, the other players that's been on the team from last year and so on, but Raheem Morris walked in that building this year. Everything has changed. Yeah, and you can feel it. You can feel it, Falcon fans. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's turned up. Yeah, I mean, Alicia Shepard said there's a lot of Steeler fans that live here too. They have clubs. There's a Steeler bar right there over there off of I think Riverdale Road. It's a Steeler bar where Steeler fans go to watch the game because they have a Steeler fan club.
Steeler fan club.
Remember we talked about the Rise Up Tour fan club? Yeah. But what we do, there's a Steeler fan club. It's a group here in Atlanta. Steeler fans of Atlanta. Like, you think the Rise Up fan club was just brought up to just, randomly do some of these events? No, we really put on these events for these fans. This is not just some random stuff, man. The Bears have a fan club down here. Do you guys see the New York Giants? You probably already seen that sponsored post on Facebook. The New York Giants of Atlanta is throwing hella parties down here that week. There's fan clubs. Keep telling y'all this. Why do you think some of these Cowboy fans finna show up week whatever, 8-9? They finna be in there with their fan club flags and Cowboys flags. A lot of them travel in these groups. That's why we continue to post the Rise Up Tour fan club. Look what we've done in the past 7 years with the Rise Up Tour fan club. We've grown to, numbers are just ridiculous right now because people love to travel. They love these things. But don't feel frightened when you see a Steeler fan come in there. He's a fan just like you. He's in there supporting his team, his or her team. For you, you do the same. But I'm telling you, if the fans are up on second and third down screaming and you sitting down, hey, I don't know. That's a whole nother fan, Dan. That's a whole nother fan. Not me. But Falcon fans, thank you all for being a part of One Time for the Fan this morning. 7:30 Sunday night, T-Will. I'm going to go ahead and get some rest, man. I got some stuff to take care of before I head to work. Holla, brother.
Rise up.
Rise up.